At 50, Karen Mitchell walked into Rising Sun Dojo, a martial arts gym buzzing with young athletes. Her graying hair and soft frame drew smirks from the group. She'd signed up for a beginner's karate class, seeking strength after a tough divorce. The younger students whispered, mocking her age, assuming she'd quit. Karen ignored them, tying her white belt with quiet determination. The dojo was alive with energy. Kicks, punches, and shouts echoed off the walls. Sensei Hiroshi, a stern but fair teacher, welcomed Karen warmly. He'd seen all types walk through his doors. The other students, mostly in their 20s, rolled their eyes as Karen fumbled her first stance. "She's too old for this," one muttered. Karen heard but focused on the sensei's instructions, her jaw set. Karen's first class was grueling. Her muscles ached, unused to the demands of karate. She tripped during a basic drill, prompting snickers from a clique of cocky students led by Jake, a 25-year-old black belt. He taunted, "Go knit instead, Grandma." Karen's cheeks burned, but she stood tall, wiping sweat from her brow. She wasn't here to impress them. She was here for herself. Weeks passed and Karen showed up daily. She practiced katas in her small apartment, her movements clumsy but determined. The mockery continued. Jake and his friends mimicked her stiff kicks behind her back. Sensei Hiroshi noticed but said nothing, watching Karen's resolve grow. She studied technique videos at night, her hands callousing, her spirit hardening like the oak staff she trained with. Karen's past wasn't easy. After her divorce, she'd felt invisible, her confidence shattered. Karate was her rebellion against giving up. She'd always admired martial arts but never dared try, until now. The dojo's discipline gave her purpose. She ignored the taunts, focusing on each punch, each block. Sensei Hiroshi saw her progress, nodding silently as her form sharpened week by week. The dojo announced a sparring tournament, open to all ranks. Jake and his crew bragged about dominating. They laughed when Karen signed up, betting she'd back out. She didn't. She trained harder, running laps at dawn, practicing strikes until her knuckles bled. Sensei Hiroshi paired her with him for one-on-one coaching, seeing potential others missed. Karen soaked up every lesson. Tournament day arrived, the dojo packed with spectators. Karen's heart raced as she stepped onto the mat, her white belt stark against her GI. Jake, in his black belt, strutted confidently, tossing smirks her way. The younger students cheered for him, expecting an easy win. Karen took a deep breath, recalling Sensei Hiroshi's words, "Strength isn't age, it's will." She bowed, ready. The first match was brutal. Jake's kicks were fast, his punches precise. Karen blocked clumsily, taking hits that stung. The crowd snickered, whispering about her age. But Karen kept moving, her eyes locked on Jake's. She'd studied his style, cocky, overconfident. When he lunged, she sidestepped, landing a clean strike to his ribs. The room hushed, stunned by her counter. Jake recovered, sneering, and came at her harder. Karen's legs burned, but she held her ground. She remembered Sensei Hiroshi's lesson on using an opponent's momentum. As Jake overextended a kick, Karen swept his leg, sending him to the mat. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Jake's friends stopped laughing. Karen offered a hand to help him up, but he swatted it away, embarrassed. The matches continued. Karen faced younger, faster opponents, losing some, but winning others with grit. Her blocks grew sharper, her strikes more confident. The crowd's mockery faded, replaced by murmurs of respect. Jake, still fuming from his loss, watched her closely. Sensei Hiroshi smiled faintly from the sidelines, proud of the woman who'd walked in unsure, but now fought fiercely. Karen's final match was against Mia, a skilled brown belt in her 30s. Mia was respectful, unlike Jake, but relentless. The two traded blows, Karen's stamina waning but her focus razor-sharp. She dodged a high kick, countering with a palm strike that earned a point. The crowd cheered, not for her age but her skill. Karen felt alive, her heart pounding with purpose, not fear. The tournament ended with Karen placing third, a shock to everyone but Sensei Hiroshi. Jake, who took first, avoided her gaze. The crowd clapped as Karen received her bronze medal, her face flushed with pride. She hadn't silenced the room with a flawless win, but with her refusal to quit. The younger students approached her after, some apologizing, others asking for tips. Karen's journey didn't end there. She kept training, her belt darkening as months passed. Jake's clique softened, some even sparring with her willingly. She became a quiet leader, helping new students who felt out of place. Sensei Hiroshi praised her, saying her spirit embodied karate's essence: discipline, resilience, heart. Karen smiled, feeling stronger than she ever had. One evening, Jake approached Karen after class. "I was wrong about you," he mumbled, eyes down. "You're tough." Karen nodded, no grudge in her heart. She'd learned to let go of bitterness, just as she'd let go of her old insecurities. They sparred again, this time as equals, their movements a dance of mutual respect. The dojo felt different now, warmer, united. Karen's story spread through the dojo. Newcomers arrived, inspired by the 50-year-old who'd defied expectations. She mentored them, sharing how karate rebuilt her confidence. Her apartment walls now held medals alongside family photos, proof of her transformation. She wasn't just a student, she was a symbol of what grit and heart could achieve, no matter the odds or age. Sensei Hiroshi invited Karen to assist with classes. She hesitated, unsure she was ready but accepted. Teaching felt natural. Her calm voice guided nervous beginners. Her strength inspired them. The dojo became her second home, a place where she wasn't defined by age or past pain, but by her actions. The younger students now called her Ms. Karen, a title of respect. Outside the dojo, Karen's life bloomed. She joined a hiking group, her stamina built from training. She laughed more, reconnected with old friends, even started dating again. Karate hadn't just strengthened her body, it had rekindled her spirit. The woman who'd once felt invisible now walked with her head high, her presence commanding respect without a word. A year after the tournament, the dojo held a celebration for Sensei Hiroshi's 30 years of teaching. Karen was asked to speak. She stood before the crowd, no longer the nervous newcomer. "I came here broken," she said, "but I found strength I didn't know I had. This dojo, this art, taught me I'm never too old to fight for myself." The room erupted in applause, eyes shining with admiration. Jake, now a friend, helped organize the event. He admitted Karen's journey had humbled him, teaching him not to judge others' potential. They trained together often, pushing each other to improve. Karen's katas were now fluid, her strikes powerful. She wasn't the fastest, but her precision and heart made her formidable. The dojo saw her as a warrior, not a grandma. Karen's influence grew beyond the dojo. A local news outlet covered her story, calling her the unstoppable woman. The article inspired others, older adults, single parents, people facing doubts, to try martial arts. Enrollment at Rising Sun Dojo spiked, with Karen as its unofficial ambassador. She welcomed each newcomer, knowing how it felt to step into a daunting world. At home, Karen reflected on her journey. She'd once thought 50 was the end of new beginnings, but karate proved her wrong. Her body was stronger, her mind clearer. She kept a journal, writing about lessons learned on and off the mat. "Age is just a number," she wrote. "What matters is the fire inside." She read it before bed, a reminder of how far she'd come. The dojo hosted another tournament. This time, Karen wasn't the underdog. Students cheered her name as she stepped onto the mat. She faced Jake again, their sparring a test of skill, not ego. They moved like partners, each strike and block a conversation. Karen lost, but the crowd roared for her. Jake bowed deeply, saying, "You're the real winner here." She smiled, knowing he meant it. Karen earned her green belt, a milestone she hadn't dreamed of a year ago. Sensei Hiroshi tied it around her waist, his eyes proud. "You've taught us all," he said. The ceremony was small, but the applause was loud. Karen felt the weight of the belt, not just fabric, but proof of her growth. She wasn't stopping. Here, her sights were set on black no matter how long it took. New challenges came. Karen sprained her wrist, forcing her to pause sparring. Doubts crept in. Maybe she was too old. But she remembered her first day, the taunts, her resolve. She trained through the injury, focusing on katas and footwork. Sensei Hiroshi guided her, reminding her that healing was part of the journey. Karen returned stronger, her spirit unbroken. The dojo became a community hub, hosting self-defense workshops. Karen led one, teaching women her age to protect themselves. Her story resonated. Divorce, doubt, triumph. Participants left empowered, inspired by her calm strength. Karen realized her journey wasn't just hers. It was a beacon for others. She felt purpose, something she hadn't known she'd lost. Jake invited Karen to train at a regional seminar with top martial artists. Nervous but excited, she joined. The instructors, some younger than her, were impressed by her technique and grit. She learned new forms, her body adapting despite aches. Fellow attendees asked her age, then her story. "You're proof it's never too late," one said. Karen blushed but stood taller. Back at the dojo, Karen mentored a shy teen, Lily, who reminded her of herself, unsure, underestimated. She taught Lily to stand firm, to strike with intent.